Look at those little
Oh
Freudian
dear.
slips.
No, it's just, you know. It's just...
Anyway, don't just stop there because you've got to struggle with it. Just. Hi everyone, I'm Paris.
And I'm Selena.
Welcome to our channel. This is Love Uncut.
So today we're going to be talking about unwanted attention, and this has kind of come from us seeing different celebrities, different musicians in the media recently being accused of sexual assault. Now we might not be going into sexual assault territory here, but we're definitely going to be touching on unwanted attention, and I think you primarily wanted to focus on a particular type of unwanted attention.
Yeah, unwanted attention from males. I think it's a very loaded title. As soon as you say unwanted male attention, there's a lot of connotations there, and oftentimes it is sexual, and I think it's a topic that we can't unpick completely in this episode, but I think it is due to the fact the systems of patriarchy where males are dominant in society, and they use this domination, whether it's through their status or their physical dominance, to sometimes exploit people. And I think wherever there's a discussion about how the powerful exploit the less powerful or the powerless, there's always going to be a lot of feelings, on the surface. So yeah, we're going to explore that side of things.
So let's kick off with a story about unwanted male attention.
Earlier last year, that was when Selena and I moved in together, and naturally when you're new to a city, you want to meet people. Well, okay, the introverts that are new to a city probably want to stay in their room, but we're a mix of the two, and I think there's a time and a place to go out there, meet and mingle, and we were excited, we still are excited to have moved in together and come to a new place and just push the reset button on everything, and meet new friends, start new jobs, and eat new food, breathe new air in this sunny city of ours. And essentially we met somebody who was a well-known figure within the local community, and I'm very much a person who sees the positive and the strengths in people. That's just my automatic kind of visor. And this is a person who is super intelligent. This is a person who, in his own way, was very good at making connections with people. And, this is a person who even produced a how-to book. So I think that's definitely someone who, is worthy of praise in some ways. Selena and I met this person together during one of the social events. Can't really remember which, but everything seemed to be going okay. It was a three-way friendship. I guess these were my kind of first impressions, Selena. So, I mentioned this person's strengths, his strengths. What did you feel, I guess, in terms of first impressions? Were you more guarded? Were you less kind of, oh, this is a new cool person and I'm gonna kind of champion what's cool about them? Was your approach like mine, or do you feel like you were a bit more reserved, waiting to see how things unfolded?
I think initially I was open to meeting him, and he seemed very friendly and seemed very helpful. As Paris said, he set up a guide, kind of showed us around a bit, and encouraged us to meet new people and set up ways to network with people. So I think initially it was all positive, and as you say, you've moved somewhere and someone's being helpful, you're going to be grateful for that help.
Me and this person's interactions were in passing. There was a community WhatsApp group who were all in the WhatsApp group, and there was a time when they were all going to a little cat cafe, and Selena loves cats. And I was the person who encouraged Selena to go, but I didn't really share the same love of pets that Selena and this gentleman shared. So we didn't really have anything to kind of bring us together on a normal level. I mean, I do have my kind of nerdy side, and I think this person was kind of more on that side, and I think for all of his intelligence, there were some social quirks.
I think everyone has social quirks, to be fair, so...
Yeah, let's be fair, everyone's got social quirks. And I think, again, it's one of those things that exists on a spectrum. But how do these things go from 0 to 100, essentially? Why are we here talking about this story? Basically, a couple of weeks after we actually, came into the neighbourhood and got acquainted with this person, they were leaving to go somewhere else. And I think this was kind of the first incident that got Selena's back up, and she was quite passionate about it. So what happened was, we were waiting for the community neighbourhood quiz to start, and then suddenly the topic of, what refreshments are there? And I think everybody in this local neighbourhood, you tell them anything about beer or alcohol, they're there, they're all on it, like ants on a jam tart. I like that metaphor, stick with it. And there was no alcohol provided at the time, and then I don't know really how it happened. Cinema might have to fill this gap in because I must have just blacked out or repressed the memory. But suddenly it went from, we need drinks to, Paris, can you go and get drinks for everyone? Go to the shop and buy everyone drinks. I didn't know everybody like that. It's been a couple of weeks. I didn't know everybody.
Yeah, and there were about maybe 8 people in that section of the room, and you were literally just plucked out by this person to go and buy drinks, not just for him or you, which is even a bit forward in itself, but for everyone. So I was already like, what is this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we were talking about those ciders, which are like £3.49 each. Do you know what I mean? And you go Spa, you see it's going to be even more. So do the maths. Do you know what I mean? And moving somewhere isn't cheap. So serious things to consider. But anyway, I kind of like. Anyway, I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to buy everybody a drink, but I'll get you a drink. But you can't basically. This person essentially said, I forgot my wallet. Can you go and get me a drink? And then he then offered it to everybody.
Yeah.
So if you forget your wallet, okay, then maybe you can excuse somebody buying a drink for you. But if you forget your wallet and you want to buy a round of drinks, you cannot outsource
someone else.
How do you do that? Has that ever happened to any of you guys? Is it just me? Please let me know. So obviously I'm not going to do that. I'm from South London, first of all. Don't know if he really understood what that meant, but it meant something to me. So I'm not just going to be kind of sent to the shop to buy drinks for everybody because you forgot your wallet. And it's all that little insinuation, like, I don't know, you're going to pay somebody, but I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, so
it was never explicitly said that he'd pay you back, and it was just weird. It was never asked outright. It was just like, oh yeah, you go and buy the drinks and buy them for everyone. But I think you just said, I'll get you one because you're leaving, and that's what I said, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll get you one. I'm not going to expect no payment back. I can do something for somebody and not expect nothing back. That's the best thing, of course. And remember, this is actually a practically helpful person who had produced a guide for everybody, and he had tried, in his own sense, to make everybody feel at home. But when the now you pay me back kind of came around, I guess, that's when it got a little bit uncomfortable. And maybe that's basic human psychology. If someone gives you something, maybe you feel inclined like you owe them. But that overreached.
I don't really think that makes sense in this situation, because if that's the case, then he'd be like that with everyone. But
there are stories.
He pinpointed you specifically.
There are stories, but he pinpointed me, and this is about how I got pinpointed. And it actually goes back to prison. Like, I've watched documentaries and stuff. Go into prison, and then say somebody leaves a chocolate bar on your bed, and you don't know, where this chocolate bar's from. You just eat. You're gonna owe whoever gave you that chocolate bar. And I don't know if prison rules necessarily apply outside, but I think people that are takers in life understand that. You'll be surprised how much you let people get away with if you feel that you owe them in some way. I think something that he understood pretty well was power dynamics as well. This person's new, I'm established, maybe I'm the guy that knows everybody, maybe I can get this person to do whatever I want, and it could be as simple as getting everybody a cider. Do you know what I mean? And I think there's also a part of people that want to connect and want to be friends. So maybe you would tolerate this from somebody just from the desire to be in with the crew. It is, you know what, I can't even second, third guess what this person was thinking, to be honest. But anyway, I got this person their drink. I mean, did he say anything when I left?
Other people came in and then were asking where the drinks were, and then he was like, oh yeah, Paris has gone to get some drinks. And then I said, he's gone to get you a drink, he's not gone to get everyone a drink.
Did he respond verbally?
Don't think so. I think he just kind of brushed off what I said because he didn't want to look bad. But it was just a bit weird. It was, you just know when things are a bit weird, and then that kind of just ruined my night a little bit because it was just a bit weird. I didn't like that he'd put Paris in that situation. I don't like it when people presume things.
Welcome to life. Like, so literally presuming city.
Yeah, it was just a bit odd. And then they were like, because Paris had done that throughout the night, like I think someone else asked you about getting
the food, the dietary requirements.
Like, how do I get a vegan pizza? It's like
okay.
Paris was suddenly the caterer for everyone. It was just a very, very strange situation.
Well, in some ways you can feel like, oh, I'm the approachable person, I'm the person that's trusted. It's a thin line, you know. But I think in his situation it was very forceful, clearly, and I don't know what psychology books he's read, you know, but he felt like it was going to work.
Oh, and there was the other bit towards the end after the quiz had happened and everyone was helping to tidy up and put stuff back. And Paris, I don't know where you'd gone, but you weren't in the room at that point. And then he kept saying, oh, just leave it, Paris will move it back. And I was like, no, there's other people here.
So other people
we can all move the couch back and put, you know, the table back. Paris doesn't need to do everything for you. I don't really understand where this weird
fixation
is coming from. Yeah,
I didn't know at all. I mean, you know, Selena came to me like maybe 5 minutes later and said, yeah, he was waiting for you and telling people not to touch stuff, you're going to move it. And I was just like, what? You know, where does it come from? You know, and I think there's kind of this argument of you set the boundaries implicitly, you know, for people to come and do what they're going to do. I disagree. I believe that, you know, you should go into every situation positive, enthusiastic, and give people the benefit of the doubt. Some of those people are going to start trying to slowly, dominate or take something from you in some kind of way. But that's not on you. So if you're a giver in the world, then continue being a giver. But you have to be aware that there are takers. So you got to know your limits because they don't know theirs. Moving on, so this person would hit me up here and there periodically.
Even after he moved?
Yeah, even after he moves, you know, wanting to meet up and stuff.
Oh, and then he told us he was moving somewhere, but he ended up being in a completely different place, which again was a bit weird.
Well, he clarified that he just didn't want... Again, we're talking about stuff that happened before we even moved into the neighbourhood, to be fair, but he didn't want certain people to know exactly where he was. Yeah, but hey...
Anyway...
This person would hit me up periodically on WhatsApp, and you know, he even said it verbatim, like, I think you and Selena are a nice couple. I'm a fan of you as a couple, I think he said, which is a nice thing to say. And you know, he was cool. I think he was anti-Brexit as well, so that was a big thumbs up in my book. But things, you know, he'd kind of messaged me here and there when I had a profile picture up or a little status, me in the gym. I mean, I didn't bring the oil to the gym, so it wasn't that deep, if you know what I'm saying. But you just be like a gym mirror selfie, you know. Come on, everybody's done one of those. Let me know if you've ever done one of those in the gym.
Or if you haven't, I haven't.
Yeah, if you haven't, then you haven't been to the gym enough, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm just saying there's certain etiquette that gym people do, and you know, the gym selfie, mirror selfie's got to be
done. Did not realise this. Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah, the gym mirror selfie's got to be done. You know, he'd compliment me essentially. I think he said something like looking good or whatever. Now, I don't mind no compliments from anyone. People compliment Selena all the time, you know.
And they compliment you too.
Yeah, but Selena gets more, but it's not a competition. But it's fine. It's really fine. So I don't mind a compliment. It's just the truth. Like, objectively speaking, compliment me, please. I welcome compliments, you know. And so I was like, oh yeah, thanks. You know, thanks. Whatever the case may be. Now, if I was a female, maybe I would have felt like, oh, I better not respond to this.
Where's it going, basically?
Yeah, it might lead him on. But to me, the boundaries were set. Like, we're in a relationship, he's literally said, I'm a fan. He's literally said, I'm a fan of you guys. And, you know, I know my levels at the end of the day. It's not every day just block somebody that compliments you here and there. But I get that if you're, again, if I was a female and I'm always getting catcalled, you might get just sick of this. So maybe you would do this. I don't know. You let me know if you're a female, you're watching.
Unfortunately, I think it just blurs into one for females because it happens, at least for me, it just happens a lot. And you're just like, oh my gosh, you know, you just have to almost ignore it. It's almost like, you know, just swatting a fly.
I mean, in a way, I can't really, I guess it's not really fair to compare, say, a stranger catcalling you to someone that you know from the neighbourhood.
Yeah.
There's clearly a connection there. So that's usually a common theme in situations that happen. You know someone through an area and you're just kind of blindsided. So anyway, I remember when we went on holiday to Spain, and I remember him saying something like, oh, where was my invite? And it's like, those are the kind of lines that generic males use when they're trying to chat up females, I think.
It's also just like, this is not someone you talk to day in, day out to even joke like that. Do you know what I mean? It was just, again, a bit out of nowhere, a bit like, okay.
He was definitely messaging here and there, and you know, I'm quite interested in people anyway to a certain extent, but not everybody you can know everything about just because of the stage that they may be at. And this is something that I guess is the lesson that, you know, was learned here or kind of demonstrated here. But there was this one time when this guy wanted our door number and I gave it first.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, she's going to tell me off. And you know what, you're within your rights, so that's probably why I subconsciously just repressed it. But yeah, I gave him my door number after he kind of asked for it on WhatsApp, and then I said, oh, why do you want it? And he just skipped over. You know when someone answers the 3 things you said but then skips over like the 4th thing, mainly the main contentious thing you want to know. Don't act like you haven't done it before. Looking at you, you definitely have. That's what he did. So that was a bit weird. I was a bit scared. And
don't worry, he didn't come to our flat.
Well, yeah, I mean,
well, not that we know of. Who knows?
The thing is, you know,
outside the door listening.
Yeah, I've moved around since then, so it is what it is. But usually, people that want your door number have a reason, at least a decent cover story. So anyway, watch out for that. You know, red flag. And I think it's good that I've had, you know, Selena to bounce off some of these weird things that have happened, because, you know, I think people's good nature will mean they second guess themselves, and then before you know it, you're in the jaws of the alligator. The sexual alligator.
Oh dear.
Preying on you. Sexual alligator. So, I think I posted another gym selfie. And, you know, this was it. This was his triggering moment, you know, and he just said, he just responded to the status, my new BBC? Question mark. And I was just like, what? You went from 0 to 5,000, you know, you're literally reducing me. Not even I like your smile, I like your personality.
Yeah, or nice muscles. That's even better. Like, that's at least a bit better than just making it so sexually explicit.
Hey, make sure your fingers are...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Look at those little Freudian slips.
No, it's just, you know.
Anyway, don't. Just stop there, because you've got to struggle with it. Just dig in. Alright, cool. Yeah, alright.
Obviously, we're just joking.
Yeah. But, reducing somebody to an...
Yeah, fetishizing. It's that word again.
That word again, fetishizing.
I can say it now.
Reducing someone to an aubergine, and if you've watched at least just a bit of our videos from the past, like Selena's referred to, fetishizing is not a compliment.
No.
It's somebody just using you for their fantasy. And especially as a black male,
well, That's what BBC means. It's referencing the fact that you're black. I mean, I'm not going to say it because I don't know if kids are watching. I don't want to say it out loud, but
if you know what it means, this video is for you. If you don't know what BBC means in this context, then it's not for you yet. But you can come back in a couple of years. You'll get all the references. That's a fun thing about growing up, by the way. You kind of watch things from when you were a kid, and then you kind of get references. But so if you don't know, then if you don't know, I'm going to tell you now. Black people are hypersexualized in the imaginations of non-black people, oftentimes, and
particularly black. Actually, no, black women too, because that whole thing about being wild and
for sure. Yeah. I mean, probably women more, but just because of the double kind of lock of being female. And your body being treated like a commodity,
objectified,
and then the blackness. That's highly offensive, to be honest. That's highly offensive, and this person is one of the smartest people I know. I don't know what he appeared to be.
I mean, he gave off the airs and graces of being intelligent and of having friends in high places and all that kind of stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean someone is emotionally intelligent or
can read
has social etiquette. I mean, look, I'm not saying that I'm perfect at social etiquette, but I mean, you don't just throw that acronym at someone and think that's okay.
What do you expect to happen, man? And it's just like, there's all these memes out there.
Memes.
Yeah, we can, is it a meme or a meme? You guys vote in the comments. About that moment where you send that risky text and then you get a risky text back, someone comes back with the same energy, and it's true.
Yeah, but that's all right if you're both single,
or it's coming from somewhere.
Yeah, or like, I don't know, you don't do that when he knows you're in a relationship and he knows that you're
knows both of us
one way inclined.
Well, I don't go around with a badge. Do you know what I mean? Telling everybody my sexual orientation. But, I don't know, neither should anybody have to, really.
Yeah.
But, I just feel like a man of experience should kind of know when somebody's like, going that way. So I felt like basically it was, the barrier was kind of broken. This person didn't know the boundaries, and he'd already kind of shown his leaning towards thinking I was a soft target, someone that he could control in some way. There was a power dynamic that he had invented in his mind. The truth is, power relations do run the world, but I'm not responsible for the narrative of myself that you made up in your head. That doesn't go just for him, that goes for everybody. So there's a version of me that you made up in your head where doing these things, saying these things is cool,
or exciting or whatever.
Yeah, so you got to check yourself. And after he said that, I was like, what? And he literally then broke down the acronym. He literally broke it down. Like, I'm saying, what? Like, why are you saying that? But this person's must think quite
so
literally.
It's not even like, oh my gosh, he said what? Let me say, oh, actually, I shouldn't have said that, my bad. He literally spelled it out to reinforce what he was saying.
Yeah, he just went for it. He couldn't hold it in anymore. As I say, if someone wants to admire or compliment me or Selena in a nice way, fine. But if it's a way that fetishizes somebody, then you need to check yourself. And I would have expected better from this person. So after I said, what he spelled it out, and then he just made a joke. He made a joke about his friend, saying his friend does this all the time when he's working out. Just didn't make any sense. And I said,
he was trying to retract. Maybe he realised it wasn't quite.
I mean, he did say, I know I'm bad. Sorry. And I'm biting my lip because that's how
why are you biting your lip?
Because that's how I imagine him saying it. Because what I'm saying is, male sexuality, male lust, I think that's how it kind of projects itself onto people. That's what male sexuality can be. So he feels a level of lust, and he literally just puts it out there. I'm uncontrollable at this point. You're my kryptonite.
I'm bad.
Yeah, and it kind of comes from that whole thing of sometimes women will get, unwarranted pictures of people's aubergines, because that's just a big example for me, for men kind of feeling this thing, and then the way they express it is projecting it onto a woman, assuming it will evoke the same emotion. And the thing is, you know, I haven't dated in the gay community. Maybe there's different kind of rules and boundaries, just because you'll be meeting male sexuality with male sexuality, so therefore the boundaries are less in a sense, you know. And clearly, you know, this situation went from just menial chat and you complimenting me to I'm gonna just project my lust on you. So, you know, again, if anybody's ever had, you know, someone else's lust projected on them, let me know. I don't think just males do it, but it's more prevalent for sure. You know, because you don't think about, I mean, a woman could just like smiles. Maybe she would like a selfie of a smile, right? As opposed to an aubergine. You're not really thinking about the intricacies. See, that's some free game for you guys out there. Don't just drop the aubergine. Don't go there first. Even if she likes toes, that's much easier. Like, just send a picture of your big toe.
Just the one big toe.
Whatever, you know, you gotta be subtle and sly and, you know.
A teaser toe.
There's a line though. Yeah, teaser toe, I like that. Because there's a line, because there's deception, and I guess there's all other things on the spectrum. That's why this topic will always be contentious. But the bottom line is, whatever worked for him in his past dating, who knows? And I don't even want to extrapolate out too much, but there was an international student from Manchester who got a kick out of you know, date raping straight guys. He attacked hundreds of boys, and he literally on the WhatsApps was saying, oh, this person's straight, but not anymore. Now, I am not saying this person is a potential date raper, but what I'm saying is maybe there's this kind of whole category of, oh, I can turn somebody.
Or just to see the reaction. Maybe that in itself is interesting enough. I mean, some people like to, I don't think he was provoking you, I don't think that's the right word, but some people like to provoke other people to get a reaction, because it's like, as you say, a whole power narrative. It's like gaslighting, and then you can almost flip the script that way.
I was like, oh, okay, well, that like out of context joke about how your friend always does it. Does what? Doesn't even make sense, but let's not delve into it. I said, maybe I should just show Selena, because, you know, she's smarter than me. That's what I said verbatim. And he's not even like, he said, no, don't. He kind of sent me some other random gift that said, oh, this should make you laugh. And it's kind of like a down flow chart. Like, I'm going to fetishize someone, don't respond how I want, say something random about my friend, then I'm going to send you a gift. Like, it was very peculiar, I think is the word. And, you know, I showed Selena the message, and she said, just block him, you know. You know, so I blocked him.
Well, I just thought he'd gone a bit too far. Like, it's not even, again, it's not even as if you're at that friendship level where maybe you can have that kind of banter. Everything that's said is kind of out of the blue. It's always in reaction to, you know, as you said, a picture of you in the gym or whatever, or a picture of us where maybe you look nice or something. Well, you look nice in all pictures, but it was always a reaction to some sort of visual stimulation, right?
Yeah, a hallmark of male sexuality apparently, but we'll delve into that in a later episode.
And then to me, this was just a bit too far, and
yeah,
it just didn't feel right along with everything else, and it always just felt like he was just trying to
push the boundaries.
Yes, to see how far he could push back. So whether it was in the situation of buying drinks for everyone, come and tidy up the sofas with us, these compliments, which, as you say, it's nice to get compliments, but they were always a bit sort of teetering on the edge of being a bit weird and stalky. And then there was this one that was just like, wow, okay, now you've actually crossed the line. You don't need to deal with someone else's, I don't want to use the word in
projections.
Case I have kids watching, but yeah, you don't need to deal with that. If you don't want to deal with it, just block them, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, you have to be careful about who you give access to, and up to that point I had no qualms giving this person a level of access to me and my partner, you know, but then it just got to a level where it's like, okay, that's left field, you know, for sure. You can banter all you want, I banter all the time, you know, with all my friends. But you've got to read it. And some people better
and you have to have a level of friendship before you can have that banter, you know?
Undoubtedly. I mean, undoubtedly. And, you know, some of us are blessed with the gift of understanding that. And some of us have, you know, some way to go. But it's inherently part of, you know, the anti-blackness narrative, you know, fetishizing somebody. So unacceptable. And, you know, an apology of my bad.
It's not really an apology, is it? It's not an apology though, is it? It's like being even cheekier. It's not an apology.
Yeah, it's taking that, you know, that risque energy and trying to bring the other person into your world. And after I blocked them, they did add me on LinkedIn. They did try to follow me on Instagram several times.
And then try to befriend other friends of Paris that they weren't friends with initially.
And this person did try and, you know, Facebook ad as well. This is after you've been blocked.
And he did all this in succession. He didn't do this before. You know, it was only after he'd been blocked on one channel because he didn't have access on that channel. He then wanted to have whatever access on some other platform. So
yeah.
And
I think again that links back to power narratives. I set the boundaries. I finally set firm boundaries, and yet this person is trying to usurp them and say, "You don't want me as a friend or an acquaintance, but I'm gonna still come around this." You know, but you know, to date they haven't tried again. But it's just too late. We need to move on like ships in the night. You're at a different journey in life, so I hope that moving forward he thinks deeply. He watches some of these past videos about anti-blackness and the black experience as a whole.
I think many people don't realise that
it's not cool.
Fetishizing someone is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't think people, I think they just think it's tied up in, as you said, some sort of fantasy sort of aspect, but they don't think it's like, it's a bad thing, it's a negative thing, it's a scary thing, it's something that can make someone feel unnerved or make someone feel objectified.
I was.
Yeah, so I think, if people can perhaps reframe that would be really great.
Yeah, I mean, the privilege is, you know, you haven't had that hypersexualization through your life. You know, black men being kind of painted in a aggressive, sexual manner. It goes deep. So unless you're willing to go deep and explore exactly where somebody comes from, you better watch yourself. And it's just like using the N-word as well, you know, which is own different topic. So don't ever think that just because person X, whoever your friend is, does Y, doesn't mean that's me. Because again, all humans are different, including ones with black skin, surprise, surprise. Don't ever think that just because, you know, you've got your one black friend or ex-boyfriend or whoever, that's your meter stick for every single person that you meet. That's like 101 in terms of offending people. Okay? So that's all I can say. And, you know, I wish this person all the best, but clearly, you know, our association had to end in disassociation because in your mind, it was a free-for-all for you to just do as you please, say what you want when you want.
Keep pushing.
And they're shocked out of their minds when you set your boundaries. And don't ever think in life, I mean, this is just one example, but don't ever think in life that, you know, when you set boundaries, the bad guy just goes, okay, goodbye. That's not what happens. They're going to hold on for dear life because whatever you gave them, they want it. They want it, you know, because they're takers.
Oh, you're taking the control out of their hands.
You don't exist to please them in whichever way it is. That's all I'm saying. It's a privilege for people to have access to you. And if that privilege evokes something out of them where they start taking the mick and thinking boundaries, then that's it. You know, and you guys set the boundaries, so you can decide whether it's that first time they fetishize you or you know, the 5th time or whatever it is. You set your boundaries. Don't let nobody else set them.
So Paris is going to just run through one of the stories of the celebrities that's been accused of, well, I guess unwanted assault, even sexual assault, right? So it was a rapper, right?
Yeah, it was a rapper named Ambush from the UK who I've listened to. He's got lots of jumpy music and I've actually watched his interviews too. And you know, he seems like someone that's switched on. He's he's you know, he's kind of this UK hood rapper. Now there's also another singer named Ray Black, and she was singing at Anthony Joshua's fight. I remember her doing the national anthem, and she's an amazing.
Okay. Didn't know that.
That was her, I remember. And then she is an amazing singer and songwriter. So gifted, just amazing. So, you know, two talented people, they crossed paths. Now what happened was Ambush grabbed her breast, kind of like that apparently. She didn't make a scene at the event, which must have been very difficult for her. But she messaged him the next day and said, you know, what you did was wrong. And you know, you got to watch out, because you do that to just anybody, it could go really far. Obviously, it's breaking the law and so on and so forth. And you know, the first thing he kind of said was, you know, my bad. And it's similar to this guy, my bad. You know, they
play it down.
Yeah, because it's hard to your ego. Because the truth is, we've all got good and bad in us. But when you're confronted with that mirror, and it's pretty black and white, people want to reduce the reflection. You know, oh, my bad. And you know, he even kind of said, don't even come at me like that, you know. And I guess that's him kind of, he was evoking at the time his power as a man, but also someone that's on the streets. And on the streets, any slight against you, even somebody bringing light to a situation, like what DJ Academics does to rap in general, you know, you could be seen as an instigator. If you're not saying something positive, don't say nothing. That's the point. You know, so every little thing, if you make somebody feel bad, how dare you evoke that feeling to me, you know, trying to take power. So I think that's why he kind of said, why are you making me, you know, sound like I'm this when I'm not? It's not my intention. But in the end, he came back and, you know, he just said, I listened to myself, I sounded stupid. And, you know, I think that is healing for people when they finally hear their persecutor acknowledge their struggle. Not gaslight it, not reduce it, but acknowledge it and just say, I was wrong. Even the way I responded, I was wrong. You know, it's a powerful thing.
Well, when someone genuinely apologises, that's, I think, as you say, it's one of the most healing things, but it gives you closure. If you know that person, as you say, acknowledges it, means it, and will, from this situation, be a better person and hopefully take it on board, then it gives you closure and you can then move on. Because if someone doesn't apologise, like, of course you can move on, but you'll still always have that niggling thing that, you know, they don't get what they did was wrong, or some people might really struggle to forgive without an apology and all that kind of stuff. So I do think a genuine apology is important.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's between them two whether she accepts, you know, his second round of apology. And, you know, she did publicise it because she felt the need to. She was being triggered by what's been happening over this current week with loads of people posting, oh, apparently this singer did that and this rapper did that. So it just triggered her and she released, you know, her truth and unresolved situation. But yeah, hopefully between them they can obviously have their conversation. And I like this story because it's got the event of the assault in it, but it's also got a level of resolution and someone actually confronting, you know, the attacker face to face. I think a lot of the times when these celebrities are accused, you never see a face-to-face confrontation. It's just the lawyers that talk, the person who's suing and the person who's getting sued, you know. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to zero in on this story, this accusation, which turned out to be true, of Ambush assaulting Ray Black, who is a talented singer-songwriter. The allegations can ruin careers. I'm struggling to think of these male artists that haven't had these allegations against them. I mean, Nelly's had stuff.
Oh, they all have.
Bobby, yeah.
Drake.
Yeah.
I can't think of them now, but
Justin Bieber.
Have. Yeah. Michael Jackson.
Yeah. It's been a mix of results. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. But it seems to be the easiest kind of stick to beat celebrities with. People are more interested in the fascinating lie as opposed to the boring truth. But we've seen Cliff Richard get attacked by the press, and you know, he sued them in the courts. Mm-hmm. There was Terry Crews as well in the US, who was assaulted by a powerful film producer. And the fact that that film producer grabbed Terry Crews' private part, I think again it is linked to that whole BBC thing. you know, and he's a muscle-bound, powerful man. You know, it's definitely, the imagery is there. This producer just, no words, came up and just felt his, you know, his aubergine. And again, Terry wanted to just react right then and there, but he couldn't, because what's that going to do for him? You know, from afar, people can't tell what happened. It's going to think he went absolutely...
It just make him look bad, which is so sad, because he's the victim in the situation. Shouldn't even have to think about that.
Yeah, it's sad. And I think sometimes people in the power seats know this. Oh, they're not going to do it. So, you know, he didn't react, but then he spoke up and he's risked his career, all from just something that, you know, happened, and you should speak up. But doing the right thing does come with a cost sometimes. You know, so yeah, I salute all the bravery of all the people in whatever circumstance it is that speak up. You know, the people that have justice in their minds, of course, and people need to be believed when these things happen. But there's also the other side of it, which obviously taints the genuine voices when people get falsely accused.
Yeah.
You know. So I think that, you know, the best thing for...
I think you have to start from the point of belief, because the alternative, if you don't believe and it actually did happen, is horrendous. You're not giving that victim acknowledgement or care. They might need, you know, psychological help. All that stuff will be missed, and also the perpetrator's still just out and about doing what they're doing, right? So you have to start from a point of belief, investigate it, and then whichever way it goes, whether it's true or not, then at least the due diligence has been done.
People do weaponize it. So I think maybe the best thing to do is to hope for justice, you know, and don't disbelieve people, but just hope that the justice and the truth can come out.
But the only way to get justice is to investigate what happened. Yeah,
and I hope that obviously the investigations, you know, can happen. But I guess I'm almost thinking like, you know, if something like that happened to myself, and you know, some of these celebrities, they've come out and they look like they're about to break into pieces. You know what I mean? So imagine that's your brother, your uncle, you know, your boyfriend. So believing the other person instantly puts a stigma on the other person unfairly. Some of these celebrities, obviously, it's faded away in our memories, but you know, others, it's really stuck.
I know what you mean, but it's like, what's the alternative?
Hope for the truth, and justice system doesn't even get the truth sometimes. So,
or it gets the wrong truth, the truth that people want
can prove.
Yeah,
basically, you know. So I think maybe a bit of empathy is always needed in all these situations. So if you're about to say or do something to somebody, try and put yourself in their shoes, or better yet, try and imagine it was your sister or your brother.
Yeah, it's not just women.
Yeah, would you try and imagine that, you know, anybody that's a victim of these situations, yeah, your voice needs to be heard, and most people won't want to hear it because it upsets their narrative that the world's perfect and bad things only happen to bad people or people that ask for it. But the truth is obviously not as black and white as that. So the issue is with them, and people that speak up are helping to move the conversation forward.
So I guess that's your experience of unwanted male attention, and then we've gone through some of the celebrity stories as well. Next episode I can tell you about my experiences of unwanted male attention. Would you guys be interested in hearing about that? Let us know.
Have you got 10 hours spare? Let us know. And you laugh, and these things are all on the spectrum, but we just wanted to kind of tell these stories to, I guess in a way, shatter the narrative of who the victim always is. You know, and just show, I guess, a slightly different angle.
Yeah, anyone can get unwanted and kind of quite hurtful attention, I guess.
Yeah, well, the attention can lead certain ways. You know, we've kind of touched on different parts of the spectrum, you know, and I kind of linked it back to previous discussions as well. So yeah, thank you guys. Though. Thank you for, you know, sticking with us to the end. Those people at the end, we see you, we love you. You know, and
that looks like a heart. Heart.
And we'll be back next week, same time, Sunday at 6 o'clock. So whatever you do this week, stay safe. This is Love Uncut. Peace and love.
Take care. Thanks for watching.